Welcome back to the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss podcast. I want to make sure the audio is coming through here on the Facebook Live appropriately now. So let me check. Let me check. All right.
Welcome back to the Hypnosis for Permanent.
Ooh, my audio is amazing. All right, perfect. Welcome back. So today we're talking about why this journey is different. Why the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss journey is different. Why, yeah, the Fast Track to Freedom 8-week program, how it's different. Why, what it is, what it is. But then I feel like it's time for me to take it to the next level of really sharing with you more about what it actually takes to heal your entire relationship with food. And I want to start out with this. So, yesterday I was in a relationship seminar and they interviewed men about women, or women got to interview men on a panel. It's all about relationships. One of the questions this young man was asked, kind of blindly, was, "What are your thoughts on American women?" And he said, "I don't like American women." And obviously that initially is like, ooh, what's about to happen next? And he said, "The reason why is because American women are so strategic," he said. And he was from, where was he from? He was from Europe, Italy, France, something like that. And he was just like, the women in Europe, they do things just for the passion. They do things just for the passion. And it's making me think of that today because my amazing, amazing, wonderful, beautiful clients and myself, because obviously I attract who I am. And like the reason I was stuck was because of the same reason that these people are stuck, is because of how strategic and how analytical that my mind, when just on its own, actually is. And there can be so many good things. Like, you become such a smart person for that. And it's why we're good at our jobs and we're accountable and we can make things happen. And it's also like, can be the thing that's holding us back from having absolutely everything that we want. So, yeah, we need to talk about that today, and the rewiring and what's required in that. And I also felt inspired to share with you about just where my passion comes from with this, and reflecting on this entire journey. When I think of the word passion, I also think about like blood, sweat, and tears passion, like heartfelt passion, like, pardon the example, but like passion of the Christ. Like, not that I'm saying anything arrogant like myself like that, but it feels like that type of heartfelt mission. and and simultaneously a passion, because here's what I'm passionate about. I'm so passionate about transformation. They're like, my clients know that when they're on a call with me, like, I am animated, I am on fire. Also, I was thinking about myself like this as I was getting up today, like a surgeon of the unconscious mind. I actually am. I'm going to just own that for myself right now. A surgeon of the unconscious mind. And that brings me to what we actually are doing here, is we are actually getting to the psychological root of all your food issues, all the way at the root. So most things that you'll invest in or that you do for weight loss, they are focusing on the surface, the accountability, the, habit change, the, all the different elements, and the specifics on what to eat and all that kind of stuff. But those are just branches of the tree. And in a couple months, You're going to get the most powerful jump start you could imagine of just kind of having your mind be blasted away and blown away on like what else is possible outside of this. It's that's what's so, and that going back to my passion, like consciousness in general is like we literally, our brains process 200 billion bits of information per second. And out of those 200 billion bits of information that is coming into our bodies, right, per second, we can only receive 200 of them out of 200 billion. And so if you grew up in a family that was very diet focused and body focused, or you had trauma that happened in your past, or whatever it was, or you just had some underlying anxiety. I had a woman I spoke to the other day of just like, she was just like, I know food scarcity was like something that got wired into my nervous system. So then that's going to filter what 200 billion bits of information that you actually receive every day. So that answers the question as to why some people struggle with food, body, and weight stuff and some people don't, because their 200 billion bits of it, or sorry, 200 bits of information that they can actually get out of the 200,000 billion. That is, yeah, they didn't have that. That was different for them. Maybe they struggle with something else though. Maybe they have, financial challenges, or they have relationship challenges. Yeah, it's just, those are kind of like the categories that, like, okay, so how do we actually change the bits of information that are coming in from this way? Well, we change it by using NLP and by using hypnosis. We actually help you process through those old things and release some of that old energy, and then take action in a different direction, which changes the result that you're getting, which changes the way you're thinking. And the repetition of doing that over and over again, it gives you access to an entire new world. I've just thought of this just now of like, it feels almost like we have been given a mission. I love this. Of, okay, so I live in upstate New York. So I think of the Erie Canal, which goes through like what, from Buffalo all the way to central New York beyond it. And it was like the way to, like, that they did to transport stuff back in the day. I don't remember. Somebody can, if you're watching this live on Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss Facebook community, you can type in the chat what year the Erie Canal is made for me. What was it, like it had to be like the 16, 17, 1800s? I'm going to make myself look silly. Anyway, I'm taking a guess, but I did go out that way recently and I saw the signs for the Erie Canal, and I remember reading that in the New York State textbook in school and being like, wow, what? And just like any, right? Okay, so anyway, so just imagine that we're being assigned to build the Erie Canal, which was done just by pure men digging out an entire like miles. So from Buffalo, like what is it? 400 miles, probably 300 miles of just digging into a canal. Anyway, how long that took, how hard that was, how much strength, how much probably emotion they felt. Like, I go on the treadmill for 30 minutes and I am about to cry because of how hard it is, right? Like, day after day, that kind of like just digging a canal for people in boats, like big boats to go through. Anyway, but the satisfaction and like the gratification of then being able to look back and be like, look what we did, and it's still standing hundreds of years later. Ultimately, that is what we're doing here, because prior to that canal being built, they were riding on horseback as many miles as they could go. And that was just their world. Like, okay, I go to visit Sally and I go to visit mom, and mom lives in my house, right? Or, okay, we're going to go down to the store, and get butter and bread and right, and maybe eat it by a lake or something for fun. Um, but that's the world, And so right now, the example of that for you gets to be like, yeah, I go through my day and I wake up and I am thinking about food and I'm thinking about weight and I'm thinking about how can I lose it faster and I'm thinking about what I ate last night. And then I go and then I do my workout and I feel better. And I listen to this podcast and I feel a little bit better. And then I feel fat though. And now I'm thinking about that and right and like, oh my gosh, I look bad today and I'm right and just like that's what your world looks like if you're listening to this in some way, shape, or form. And we accept that as being kind of life and like that's like truth and that's all that there is. And maybe at some point though, you get really exhausted of the horseback and you're like, I don't want to swim in this tank anymore. Like I'm something inside me is like festering up and getting agitated and like I'm getting really mad because like I keep trying to go on the horseback, but like I keep hating it essentially. Um, but you keep making yourself wrong and bad for it rather than recognizing that this anxiety is actually a sign that it's time to make a different decision. That like there actually is a future for you where you could get to where you want to go way faster and you could have more fun. Yes, you're going to have to work hard to get it. Yes, it's going to take time, but like, what kind of life do you actually want to have? That could be so much bigger than this. And that was part of my experience was I got to a space where it was like I could spend all of my life force energy on trying to be perfect with my eating. I had done that before. It was like, or I could actually make a different decision to say yes to my dreams, to the kind of life I actually wanted to live. And honestly, really thinking about that, because I mean, I've done a lot of things. And even when I made that decision, I had already done my life travel. So I'm not talking about any like grandiose, like the life I want to live. Like service is the best thing I can imagine doing with my time. Like being with my clients and helping them again see what they can't see and then helping them dig the Erie Canal. I'm helping you dig the Erie Canal in your mind so that you can live a life that you didn't even know was available to you, or you know what you want. So you might know that you want to switch careers and you want to, I don't know, start a business, be an entrepreneur. You might know that you want to attract a partner or you want to have a better marriage. You might know that you want to have a better relationship with your kid or you want to, whatever it is, and consider that whatever that heart passion mission is that you have right now, and oftentimes it's just helping clients identify what that actually is. Um, yeah, that the food noise is there because you're not actually working on that. It's your body asking you to stop ignoring this thing, but you just don't know how to deal with that yet. And there's no shame in that, but anyway, that's the kind of inquiry that we're having here inside the program. And again, it's getting all the way to the psychological root of the food issues. Um, and some people may not want that, but you will never, if you stay with me for the entire amount of time. So again, in the first 8 weeks of the program, you're going to get a huge jump start into, feeling free and the food noise going down and not going wild at food anymore. And stopping all the tracking and all of the counting, and feeling joy start coming back into your veins and into your essence, and having energy come back and feeling more positive when you wake up. Like, that's going to happen in the first 4 weeks of the program. It's going to happen right away. It's so quick. These tools are so powerful, but it's not that you have all the tools and you can keep practicing, but it's not the full thing. Like, to completely dig the Erie Canal, we need more time than that. So 64.7% of my clients from the 8-week program go and they do the year-long program. And yeah, and it's just like we can't stop building the Erie Canal after that amount of time. We need to go and do that full deep dive to really find all of these aspects. Because here's the thing, is like, life is non-stop triggering. So there's constant stimuli coming in all the time. And the unconscious mind is so insidious. Like, it it will tell these tiny little lies to get you to go back into dieting. And oh no, like, you'll justify and be like, but that's okay. And like, oh, but no, I really want that. And like, it comes in like that. I see it happen for people. And so, yeah, as I'm coaching people past the 8 weeks, it's just like noticing what's coming up and being able to help the client kind of gently guide them back to, hey, your mind is telling you those things because why? Because the unconscious mind likes the path of least resistance. So going back to those old neural pathways, that old horse and carriage route, yeah, it's familiar. That's the familiar groove. And yeah, so to be able to be with them as they're going through that, and make sure that when they are saying what they're saying, that it's actual truth and it's not actually that quiet programming that's trying to lead them astray. And always leaving you feeling empowered and inspired, and knowing that, like, that is your decision. It's not me telling anybody what to do. It's just taking out what isn't you, what is the old programming, and then giving you the spaciousness to actually design what is actually true for you, in terms of your health and your life, and your weight loss. So, yeah, that's what's on the old heart today. And I just feel inspired to give a special shout out to my clients. I just love all my clients, whether you're private, whether you're an NLP, whether you're in the Fast Track to Freedom program, in the Accelerator program, like, past, present, and future. The amount of love that I have for each one of you, and is so immense. The amount of love that I have for, yeah, for you. I want you to win so much. I want you to have the Erie Canal built. And I've seen it built so many times. And I'm telling you right now that the people who I've seen complete the build with me have been with me for at least a year. Sometimes there's been 2 years. But there's this thing that happens, and I would say like 50%, no, probably 65% of people between 12 and 18 months, the Erie Canal is built. And you can see like a light switch go off for them. I have the clients that I can think of where this has happened with, and they don't need me anymore. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think of my one client, Yvonne, who was on the podcast, and checked in with her. It was like a few years later, and she is rocking in the free world. Like, she is not worried about any of that stuff anymore. She's healthy. She's happy. She got a job that makes her happier. Her child is thriving. Her marriage is thriving. Like, she's literally living the best life. And like, it was because she got that old, like, 200 bits of the food, body, and weight conversation out, and she just started to celebrate herself and love herself fully, and like all good things come when you can make this vessel, mind, body, and spirit, empty and full of just love and joy and peace rather than anxiety and fear and anger and resentment and panic and right, all of that kind of stuff that's in there. But everybody's journey is different, and I remember all the unique details of what comes in with a client. And my background of nursing, I always planned on being a doctor, and like I do feel like I'm a doctor, but I'm a doctor of the mind. I started to go to school for psych nurse practitioner, mental health nurse practitioner. Then they have like the doctorate level. And yeah, at the time I wasn't into medications. Like I really was doing all this work for myself. So I just really believed in that. So that's why I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. And I also don't want to spend my whole life fighting, because another reason I wanted to do it was like against, like, because I wanted to impact the healthcare industry to like help them realize how much hypnosis helps and how much we need this kind of work added in for people to actually have a chance to survive and like thrive in their lives. Um, but made a conscious choice to turn towards coaching and start my own movement. And I love everything about that. And I also know that it feels like it's my responsibility to actually accurately still say how much of the training that I've done, like consistent and constant training of leadership and conscious leadership and communication and relationships and finances and business and yeah, like, and being able to listen in a way that helps me be able to, right, my neurolinguistic programming training specifically of like teaching you how, like seeing the way of thinking, like the old programming that's actually happening, that if we just like got rid of that programming, we could be set free. So I remember those specific details, and it's holistic in nature because, sometimes it is about what's going on with relationship or environment or work, communication, like, and so giving you those practical data, like actually what you can do instead that's actually going to work to just get your power back and again, decrease food noise and anxiety, because that's what wasn't actually being addressed that needed to be addressed in the first place. Yeah, it's the real deal. And giving you that tailored specific advice for what you need to implement to get your results a lot faster. And by simultaneously clearing out just all the food, body, and weight loss and whatever stuff that keeps trying to get you to not address the real matter because it feels too scary to the unconscious mind. It's so innocent, but it is really powerful. And so it does take time. And my one hope for all my clients is that they just get how worth it is to take the time and to stay in faith and to trust the process and themselves and to keep using the tools and to keep asking the questions, even the hard ones, even when it gets really hard or even when it gets really easy. Yeah, got to work through all the different triggers, the holidays and the families and the work stuff because there's so many things in life that's just constantly triggering us. And sometimes we can be on an upward trajectory, but then something hits us and then we don't have that. And then we can just still easily go back into that. And I don't want that for anybody. So hope this is helpful today. Thank you for being here. I love you. And we'll see you for the next episode. Ready to finally break free from the diet hamster wheel and create lasting transformation? I've put together a free hypnosis training just for you, where I break down why diets keep failing, the mindset shifts you need to stop the cycle, and how to rewire your subconscious for true effortless change. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483 and I'll send it to you instantly. You don't have to keep struggling. Real freedom starts now. Take the first step. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483.